But now, to the world's loudest and possibly most powerful media mogul. And no, we're not talking about Rupert Murdoch.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
That was Elon Musk last year, with advice to advertisers threatening to boycott the social media network he bought for $44 billion US, as punishment for an anti-Semitic post he'd made and anti-Semitism on the platform. And this is Musk and Donald Trump on X last week in the, quote, interview of the century, with Elon telling Trump,
"You are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the opposite." Then that's my honest opinion.
Elon's Trump interview, delayed by technical glitches, was a 2-hour-long audio-only gabfest. But what made it significant was that it happened at all. Because for decades we've had newspaper bullies like Murdoch, Hearst and Beaverbrook meddling in politics and acting as kingmakers. And now, for the first time, a social media mogul is doing it too. With Musk leaving no doubt he's all in for Trump, tweeting minutes after the attempted assassination,
"I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery."
Since when Musk has used X to batter Trump's opponent, telling his 195 million followers,
"Kamala is quite literally a communist. Imagine 4 years of this."
As well as,
"Kamala is obviously just a docile puppet of the system."
Musk pushed those messages to some 360 million people on his platform by putting it into their feeds. And he's pulled 135 million views for this, quote, amazing fake Kamala campaign ad with voice created by AI.
"I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist."
Elon Musk has also attacked Harris's record on immigration as the so-called border czar, and suggested that Biden and Harris have encouraged mass illegal immigration to boost their election chances, which he must know is nonsense because only US citizens get to vote. But it's not just in the US that Musk is using his megaphone. He's famously tangled with Australia and Brazil over refusing to take down harmful content. And earlier this month, he helped fuel anti-immigration riots in Britain by tweeting,
"Civil war is inevitable."
Having made the same claim several times last year in relation to Europe and its immigration policies.
Europe is headed for civil war.
And Musk is certainly not trying to dampen the conflict, retweeting this post portraying the British police as the SS, and this post of Prime Minister Keir Starmer as a Nazi, as well as spreading fake news from one of Britain's far-right party leaders.
Keir Starmer considering building emergency detainment camps on the Falkland Islands.
Musk has also amplified right-wing claims of UK two-tier policing, where Muslim or non-white protesters are protected, while whites or, quote, patriots are prosecuted or attacked, branding the PM as two-tier Keir, and retweeting this claim from the far-right Atlas Society and asking what the hell is going on. But this post of his, which has racked up 100 million views, is perhaps the most offensive and most inflammatory.
Found this pic of the UK justice system.
The top meme shows 4 black men about to gangbang a porn star. The bottom picture implies that Muslim leaders are about to do the same to Britain's police force. And where is Musk getting his material from? The bottom image was tagged to him by the racist right-wing rabble-rouser Tommy Robinson, who posts angry videos about immigrants and asylum seekers like this one.
"Stop the fucking boats! Get them out of them hotels! Get them gone! Put them on boats and send them back! OK? They shouldn't be here!"
It was Musk who reinstated Robinson's Twitter account. And Musk who has helped Robinson's tweets rack up 434 million views during the recent riots. With analysis by UK's Centre for Countering Digital Hate finding,
the platform's algorithm is helping his false and hateful content reach tens of millions of views every day.
And Byline Times reached a similar conclusion.
Musk not only amplified Robinson, but systematically boosted a range of far-right influencers promoting disinformation around the riots.
One of those far-right influencers is Europe Invasion, which puts out a stream of anti-Muslim tweets and nasty AI-generated memes, which, according to Mark Owen Jones, has notched up 133 million views in 10 days of UK unrest. These accounts can make millions of dollars for Musk, who has not shut them down despite their hate-filled messages. And not surprisingly, UK commentators are up in arms, with The Times branding Musk a dangerous troll and commenting,
"Until now, we've never watched a plutocrat go full Bond villain, cackling from his lair as he spreads discord and fear."
while the Financial Times' Edward Luce has called for action, tweeting,
Elon Musk's menace to democracy is intolerable. He's using the largest and most influential platform in the democratic world to stoke racial conflict and civil breakdown. Democracies can no longer ignore this.
So, what can democracies do? Britain's PM Keir Starmer has wrung his hands, but, so far, done nothing. But one ex-Twitter boss has suggested Musk could be jailed, as some who've incited the UK riots on social media already have been, advising,
in my experience, that threat of personal sanction is much more effective on executives than the risk of corporate fines.
Meantime, the UK government says it's looking at beefing up the Online Safety Act, which comes into effect next year, and speeding up its implementation. The Act provides for social media companies to be fined up to 10% of their worldwide revenue if they fail to remove harmful content. And while fining Musk and X would undoubtedly create a fight, the ex-Twitter boss is urging the government to go for it, writing,
the will of a democratically elected government should mean more than the fury of a tech oligarch, even him.
We'll see if the British government or anyone else has the nerve to take Musk on. But, as a sign of how that might go, Musk reacted to warnings of EU sanctions last week by telling Commissioner Thierry Breton,
take a big step back and literally fuck your own face.
So, watch this space.
Pete, good morning to you. Good to see you. Are you a heartless racist? Do you have any humanity?
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And that's today's Karl Stefanovic confronting the opposition leader on his call to shut the door to Palestinians fleeing Gaza on the grounds that they're a risk to national security and could be Hamas supporters.
Mike Burgess issued a warning to tone the rhetoric down. You waited a grand total of 3 days before you drove a wedge through some of the community.
And over on 7, the Liberal leader was facing similar pushback.
Mike Burgess says if there's no ideological support for Hamas, then not a problem. Don't you trust ASIO?
But elsewhere in the media, for which read News Corp, there was plenty of support, with the Daily Telegraph editorial praising Peter Dutton for saying,
what millions of Australians must be thinking.
Which was,
how can we be sure we are not importing hate with our humanitarianism?
And a few pages before that, News Corp's star columnist Andrew Bolt was going even harder, accusing Labor of giving visas to Hamas sympathisers simply to win votes in Western Sydney, which was being repeated on X by Sky contributor Prue McSween, who was claiming Labor was
willing to risk your safety and that of your family to ensure it survives the next election and buys Muslim votes.
And it's no surprise that her Sky News colleagues were praising the opposition leader too.
Today, Peter Dutton showed leadership.
Peter Dutton was right to say today that we should take no immigrants, none whatsoever, from Gaza.
With Peter Credlin's guest and former boss, Tony Abbott, adding this cherry on the top.
The appropriate number of Hamas sympathisers in Australia is 0. It's 0. And anyone that we take from Gaza right now, you've got to assume is a Hamas sympathiser.
That is quite a scare and quite an assumption. But it's not a new theme on Sky After Dark to brand anyone fleeing war-torn Gaza, where around 40,000 Palestinians have now been killed, as a potential terrorist. Here's Sherry Markson making the case back in February.
Now, this right here is the list of hundreds, nearly 500 Palestinians who've been granted visas to leave Gaza. 81 of them headed for Australia. And our revelation tonight that the Albanese government has granted a 21-year-old Hamas sympathiser a visa calls into question the adequacy of their security checks.
The government says it has approved visitor visas to nearly 3,000 Palestinians and rejected 7,000. The opposition says they could all pose a security threat. So, who in the media has challenged that terror tagline by doing some basic journalism and talking to those who have fled Israel's bombardment? The Nine papers found a civil engineer who fled northern Gaza, who told them,
everyone who travels to Australia is checked. Israel checks all the names. Egypt checks all the names. Australia checks all the names.
And 2 days earlier, they spoke to 33-year-old Rose Al-Halou, who was displaced 11 times in Gaza after her pharmacy was turned to rubble, who said,
most of the Gazans who came here are well educated. Most are engineers, doctors, pharmacists. We're here to start a new journey.
While the Australian featured Palestinian neurosurgeon Dr. Mona Kaskin, who was also being interviewed on ABC Radio, telling RM Breakfast,
I'm not political person, absolute. I'm not political. I think the most of the boys come from Gaza, they are not political people because they came for just a normal life. They want to live in peace with their children.
And credit to Sky's daytime coverage for interviewing Palestinian refugee Mariam Dawas, a 32-year-old widow and mother of 5, who told them,
I'm a successful person. I'm a very I'm a very normal person, and I'm ready to contribute to the country. All the people in Gaza are very normal people. They are not terrorists.
It's surely the media's job to bring us these first-hand accounts of people who fled the war, especially when all are now being labelled a threat. But looking at last week's coverage, we can't see any proper interviews with Palestinian refugees in Australia on Sky After Dark, or on the leading talk shows across Nine's 3AW and 2GB, or in the News Corp tabloids. Indeed, even ABC TV News seems to be missing in action. But it was a good week for cartoonists, as Mike Bowers explained on Insiders.
Mark Knight has got Peter Dutton pulling in the welcome mat. How silly of me, when there's a war on, I should have taken you in.
Oh, thank you, they say.
As he whips away the welcome mat and slams the door.
That was in the Herald Sun, a News Corp paper. But now, to the latest footy scandal, with the media in a muddle over a mysterious white substance.
Well, the NRL has been rocked by yet another potential drug scandal, with one of the game's biggest names caught up in the investigation.
Yes, I think we know where this one is going, because it's a story we've seen countless times before, with sporting stars and celebrities.
Late this afternoon, a photo has emerged of Latrell Mitchell crouching over a table, and on that table there appears to be a white substance.
And it wasn't just 10 News running the story based on what it bizarrely called
this alleged photo.
Oh, I think it's a photo, all right, with the grainy leaked image sparking a series of TV reports of
a white substance.
The white substance.
A white substance.
White powder.
White powder.
White powder.
White powder photo scandal.
And the white powder was also making headlines across social media. But despite selling the story as a scandal, the media were all eager to be very clear.
There is no suggestion that the white substance is an illicit drug.
Really? So what on earth could it be? Talcum powder? Baking powder? And why is Latrell examining it so closely and putting his nose so near? Now, of course, we're not suggesting the white powder is an illicit drug, but if it is only talcum powder, why all the headlines? And why is Latrell set to be fined and banned for one match after bringing the game into disrepute? It's all very puzzling. And how did the media get their hands on this nothing to see here photo? Because it was being shopped around by someone hoping to cash in on Latrell's antics, with Nine's Danny Weidler telling the Footy Talk podcast,
I think every news outlet had the photo. Someone was trying to sell it. You know, the view in our newsroom was, we're not going to pay for that.
And the telly's Buzz Rothfield said they too weren't going to pay for the image, telling NRL 360.
We don't buy photos, particularly, grubby, people trying to make a quid out of someone else being in the court in an unfortunate position.
But publish it they did, as did everyone else, with Nine running the image on its 6 p.m. bulletin, but not mentioning what was on the table, and Seven running the photo and daringly admitting that it was a white substance. All a bit ridiculous, really, but the media are always coy about reporting on gotcha pics like these, with ex-WAG Nadia Bartel, singer Shannon Knoll, Melbourne Storm players, and even Peter Dutton's son Tom, all appearing in the White Powder Hall of Fame. And every time this happens, the public is left to read between the lines as the media tries to cover its legal arse with the same nudge-nudge, wink-wink coverage. And finally, to an ABC promo about all the great shows you can catch on iview.
Get a unique perspective of the world around you.
Including Australian Story, Foreign Correspondent and Four Corners.
I think I'm done, guys.
You walking out, really?
Or should that be Four's Corners? Whoops. Now, we all make typos, but what's unfortunate about Four's Corners is that it's not new. It's gone to air more than 60 times over the past 3 weeks. And as the promo says,
once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
which was the case for one eagle-eyed Melbourne viewer who clocked it Wednesday night, with the promo coming hot off the heels of...
Green.
That is correct! The ABC's new and absurd Spelling Bee quiz show, which received a 5-star review in The Guardian and is obviously a show that everyone in the ABC promos department should also watch. And that's all from us for tonight. Don't forget Media Bites on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. But for now, until next week, goodbye.